Charles, said Mr. Limoncello on the video screens. Thank you, sir, said Chiltington, smoothing out his khaki pants. And just so you know, I saw an ant crawling up the side of this seat. That's why I almost kicked it. How very thoughtful of you, Charles. Mr. Limoncello, said Akimi. Yes? How come the sewer started smelling like a pine tree? Because I enjoy the odor of pine trees much more than the stench of horsemen. How about you? Definitely. Now then, will everybody else please join us upstairs in the Electronic Learning Center? I have a very important announcement to make. Kyle heard feet clomping up the stairs, and soon Andrew, Bridget, Yasmin, Sean, Haley, Rose, and Kayla hurried into the room. Are we all here? Said Mr. Limoncello. Everybody except C.R. Russell, said Kyle. Ah, yes. I saw her downstairs reading When You Reach Me by Rebecca Steed. We'll reach her later. It's nearly noon, and I'm eager to move on to the next round of our competition. What competition? Asked Yasmin Smith-Snyder. The one we are about to begin. Sir? Said Sean Keegan. I have stuff to do today. That's fine, Sean. You are, of course, free to leave. If any of the rest of you do not wish to stay and play, kindly deposit your library cards in the discard pile. A tile in the floor popped open, and an empty goldfish bowl atop an ornate column rose up about 3 feet. Just drop it in the bowl there, Sean. Attaboy. Follow the flashing red arrows in the floor to the nearest exit, where you will receive a lovely parting gift along with my everlasting admiration for your essay writing abilities. Bright red arrows danced across the floor. Sean followed them. What happens if we decide to stay? Asked Akimi. You will be given the chance to play a brand new, exciting game. Is there a prize for the winner? Demanded Haley Daly. Oh, yes. Now Miguel shot up his hand. Mr. Limoncello, what do we have to do to win? Simple. Find your way out of the library using only what's in the library. Awesome! Lame, mumbled Kayla Corson. I'm out of here. She plunked her library card into the fishbowl and followed the blinking arrows out the door. Does anyone else want or need to leave? Sorry, sir. I have soccer at 2, said Rose Vermette. See you guys later. She dropped her card into the discard bowl. The instant she did, bells rang, confetti fell from the ceiling, and every electronic console in the game room started ding-ding-dinging. Congratulations, Rose, said Mr. Limoncello, who had put on a pointy party hat. For sticking to your prior commitments, you will receive our special prior commitment sticker prize, a complete set of Limoncello sticker picture games and a laptop computer to play them on. Enjoy. Charles Chiltington stepped a little closer to the security camera as Rose Vermette skipped out of the room. Sir, might we assume that the prize for winning your brand new game will be even better than a laptop computer? Yes, said Mr. Limoncello, taking off his party hat. You may so assume. I'm in, said Chiltington. Me too, said Kyle. Me too, added Akimi, Miguel, Andrew, Bridget, Yasmin, and Haley. Sierra Russell wandered into the room. Her nose was buried so deep in her book, she didn't even notice Mr. Limoncello's gigantic face on all the video screens. Is something going on? She said, mostly to her book pages. You bet, boomed Mr. Limoncello. Sierra's head snapped up. Oh, hello, sir. Greetings, Sierra. Sorry to interrupt your reading. Just have a quick question. Will you be staying or leaving? Well, sir, I'd like to stay, if that's okay. Okay. It is wonderful. Another word I just made up. Now then, to read you the rules of the game, because every game needs rules, here is your friend and mine, Dr. Yanina Zinchenko. The video screens switched to a close-up of the librarian with the red hair and glasses. Your exit from the library must be completed between noon today and noon tomorrow, said Dr. Zinchenko. Mr. Lemoncello's head popped into a corner of her screen. Tomorrow's my birthday, by the way. Mark your calendars. And he ducked back out of the frame. Our security guards will continue holding your cell phones, said Dr. Zinchenko. You may not use the library computers to contact anyone outside the building. You may, however, use them to conduct research. You may also request 3 different types of outside assistance. 1, ask an expert. 1, librarian consultation. And 1, extreme challenge. Please be advised, the extreme challenges are, as the name implies, extremely difficult. If you pass the challenge, your reward will be great. However, if you fail, you will be eliminated from the competition. Kyle figured he'd avoid asking for one of those unless he extremely needed to. To use any of these lifelines, Dr. Zinchenko continued, simply summon Mrs. Tobin. Chiltington raised his hand. Yes, Charles. Would you mind telling us what the prize will be for the winner? The video screen switched to an image of Mr. Lemoncello, who had done some sort of quick change. Now he was wearing sunglasses and had a silk ascot tucked into his shirt collar. He looked like a flashy Hollywood movie star from 1939. Fame and glory! The winner will become my new spokesperson and will star in all of my holiday promotions. Will be famous? Gushed Yasmin, fluffing up her hair and smiling at the security camera. Haley stepped in front of Yasmin. I've done some modeling work for Sherman's Shoes in Old Town. Yasmin stepped in front of Haley. I was an extra in a hot dog commercial once. Well, I'm a cheerleader. Yasmin isn't. While the 2 girls continued primping and posing for the camera, Dr. Zinchenko came back on screen to quickly rattle off some final words. Your library cards are the keys to everything you will need. The library staff is here to help you find whatever it is you are looking for. The way out is not the way you came in. May not use any of the fire exits. If you do, an alarm will sound and you will be immediately eliminated from the game. For safety purposes, you will be under constant video surveillance and you will be recorded. In the unlikely event of an emergency, you will be evacuated from the building. Creating an incident that requires evacuation will not count as having discovered a way to exit the library. Any questions? Just one, said Andrew Peckelman, adjusting his goggle-sized glasses with his fingertip. When exactly will the game begin? Mr. Lemoncello's face reappeared on the screens. Good question, Andrew. Oh my, it's noon. How about, let's say, I don't know, now! Chapter 18. The contestants raced down the stairs to the Rotunda reading room. Kyle saw Haley Daly dash down another set of steps into the basement, to what the floor plan called the stacks. Miguel and Andrew, the 2 library experts, grabbed separate tables and started working the touchscreen computers. Bridget Wage did the same thing. Charles Chiltington strolled out the arched doorway and into the foyer with the fountain. Yasmin Smith-Snyder was running around the circular room with her floor plan in front of her face, like someone frantically checking their text messages while racing down a crowded sidewalk. Sierra Russell found a comfy chair and sat down to finish her book. The girl definitely wasn't in the whole spirit of the game. So Kyle, said Akimi, you want to form an alliance? What do you mean? It's what people do on reality shows like Survivor. We help each other until, everybody else is eliminated and we have to stab each other in the back. I don't remember hearing anything about eliminations. Oh, right. But hey, there was nothing in the rules that said we couldn't share the top prize. I just want to win. Cool. So we're a team? Sure. Great, said Akini. I nominate you to be our captain. All in favor raise their hands. Kyle and Akimi both raised their hands. It's unanimous, said Akimi. Okay, let's go ask that antique librarian a question. What? We both get to ask one question, right? Right. Okay, here's mine. Hey, lady, how do we get out of here? And you think she'll tell you? No, not really. So what's your plan? Well, I was thinking... Suddenly, Yasmin shouted, I win! The rest of them stopped whatever they were doing. It's just like last night when Kyle found dessert in the most obvious place. To get out of the library, all we have to do is use one of the fire exits. Duh! She headed toward a hallway between the book and cafe and community meeting room A. Kyle stood up. Yasmin? I think you maybe missed some of what... Charles Chiltington dashed into the room and shouted, You're not going to win, Yasmin. Not unless you beat me to that fire exit. He bolted toward the corridor. Yasmin bolted toward it too. You guys, said Kyle. Kyle could see a red exit light glowing at the far end of the hallway. Charles and Yasmin were sprinting down. Charles stumbled and fell. Yasmin kept running, harder, faster. She slammed into the exit bar on the metal door. Alarm sounded. Flashing red lights swirled. Somewhere, a tiger roared. Mr. Lemoncello's voice rang out over the overhead speakers. Sorry, Yasmin. That's where your sidewalk ends. You broke the rules. You are out of the game. Your library card will be placed in the discard bowl, and you will be going home. As the fire exit door slowly swung shut and Yasmin disappeared into the bright sunshine outside of the library, Kyle checked out Charles Chiltington, who would have been sent home if he hadn't stumbled and had reached the exit first. That guy was smirking. That was when it hit Kyle. Chiltington had faked Yasmin out. He knew she couldn't win by going on a fire exit, but he ran down the hall to fool her into thinking she was doing the right thing. Oh yeah, Chiltington was definitely in it to win it, no matter who he had to trample. Whistling casually, Charles strolled back to the lobby. What's Chiltington doing out in the entrance hall? Said Akimi. They told us the way out isn't the way in. Before Kyle could answer, Andrew Peckelman started shouting at Miguel, who had wandered over to Peckelman's table. Get away! You're trying to steal my idea! No, man, said Miguel. I just happened to see your screen, and I don't think that particular periodical... You know what, Miguel? I don't really care what you think. This isn't school. This is the public library, and you're not the boss in here, so just leave me alone. Miguel tossed up his hands. No problem, bro. I was just trying to help. Ha! You mean help me lose? Andrew stormed up the closest spiral staircase to the second floor and the Dewey Decimal rooms. Miguel, looking sort of sad, headed up a separate spiral staircase. Bridget Wade trailed after them. Want to follow those guys like Bridget did? Whispered Akimi. I'll take Peckelman. You take Miguel. No thanks, said Kyle, looking up at the domed ceiling. I'm much more interested in the windows up there. 3 stories above the rotunda floor, just below the Wonder Dome, there was a series of 10 arched windows set between the recessed statue nooks. The windows acted like skylights at the base of the dome, allowing sunshine to flood into the room below. Do you think those windows open? Asked Akimi. Maybe, maybe not, but I've never let a closed or locked window stand between me and winning a game. Just ask my dad. What? Never mind. Come on. Kyle trotted over to the cushioned chair where Sierra Russell was peacefully reading her book. Excuse me, hate to interrupt. Sierra raised her head. She had a very dreamy look in her eyes. I need a book. Really? Said Sierra. What kind? Like the one you found, up there. He gestured to the curving bookcases climbing up the back half of the rotunda. Fiction, said Sierra. Right, said Kyle. Love me some fiction. Well, what sort of story do you like? Something way high up, said Kyle. The higher the better. Really? Yep. Well, that's an interesting way to put together a reading list, basing it on bookcase elevation. I'd like something on the top shelf, maybe right under the hologram statue of that guy hanging out with the Cat in the Hat. That's Dr. Seuss, said Sierra. He wrote The Cat in the Hat. Sweet, said Kyle. But I just like how close he is to that window.
Welcome to Cleveland Public Library, the People's University. Although our branches and locations are closed at the moment, there's still plenty of programs and services for you to enjoy online. Come on, let's check it out.
Start your day with a good book. The library offers titles for every age and reading level. We also have virtual programs that inspire creativity and a love of reading.
You can access your virtual summer library experience at cpo.org. All you need is your library card to get started. It's not too late to join Summer Lit League, Cleveland's hottest summer reading program. Read books to earn cool prizes like a Nintendo Switch and an Apple iPad. Hurry up, the program ends Saturday, July 25th. You can sign up on cpo.org. Let your imagination run wild with virtual story time. Every week, our library staff, the Cavs, and other local celebrities read popular children's books on our website and YouTube. If you prefer an ebook, Overdrive, Hoopla, and Tumblebooks can bring that book to life through animation, narration, sounds, and music. Attention comic book lovers. From superhero stories to anime, Cleveland Public Library has a huge collection of graphic novels just for you. It's all here on cpo.org. Click on Books, Movies, and More, or call your local branch for help. The library has music too. When our doors reopen, visit the South and Rockport branches to create your own beats using our recording studios. CPL also offers gaming and esports. It's called CPL Play. Starting this month, learn from the best gamers in the region on Cleveland Public Library's Twitch TV channel.
But if video games aren't your thing, the library is offering tutoring and homework help online this summer. And if you're looking for a snack, the library is partnering with the Greater Cleveland Food Bank to offer meals every Thursday at one of these 4 locations. But remember, these meals are for kids.
You can get copy, fax, and print services curbside. And if you're looking to use the internet, just come outside Main Library and any of our 27 neighborhood branches. Our Wi-Fi signal is strong and ready for you to use.
Don't forget your library card is your key to discovery at Cleveland Public Library. If you don't have one, visit cpo.org today to get it.
We miss you, and we can't wait to see you at one of our online programs or visit us at one of our many pickup locations. And when you do, don't forget to bring your mask. Have a great summer.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason Levy and I'm the music teacher from Campus International School. Today we're going to be doing a music lesson all about some summertime treats. With it being so hot out and everybody having picnics, everybody needs a good summer dessert. So I hope everybody's hungry and let's dig in. So today's lesson is all about dessert. Now I want you to think about what are some of your favorite desserts. Some of them might be maybe cupcakes, or with it being so hot outside, popsicles, or a nice refreshing watermelon, or maybe even an ice cream sundae. I know during the 4th of July, I love to pick cherries off the cherry tree, so maybe a cherry pie. So I want you to think of some of your favorite desserts. Got it? Me too. So now that we have our list of some of our favorite desserts, we need to figure out how many syllables are in each of these desserts. So like cupcakes. So that would be 2 syllables. And if you're ever confused on how many syllables there are, you can always clap it out. So cupcakes has 2 syllables. Now, how about popsicles? Yep, you're right, 3 syllables. Now, watermelon. Yep, 4 syllables. Now think about this next one. Ice cream sundae. Ice cream sundae. Yep, 4 syllables. Cherry pie has 3 syllables. And I think you can do this next one. Reese's Pieces. Exactly, 4 syllables. Oreos. 3 syllables right there. How about just cake? Yep, cake's just 1 syllable. And maybe those fancy cookies, those macaroons. Macaroons. 3 syllables. So now that we have all of our foods, all of our favorite desserts and their syllables, now we can go on to the activity. So on the screen, I have a poem, but you'll notice there are some blanks here in the poem that we're going to be filling in a minute. So I'm going to say it the first time through and just listen and think about maybe what we could fit in those blanks. So I'll start. I like. Please bring me some. Please bring me some right now. So you can see in our poem we have the words I like, and then after it we have some dashes. And this at the top we have 4 dashes. So where there are 4 dashes, we're actually going to put in one of our 4-syllable desserts. And since it's summertime, I think watermelon would be a great one. So our poem, if we put watermelon in that 4 dashes at the beginning, it would sound like this. I like watermelon, I like. Please bring me some. Please bring me some right now. So now that we have our watermelon in the 4 blanks, we need one of our desserts in the 3 blanks. And how about we do popsicles? So now if we put in popsicles in each of those spots where there are 3 blanks, that fills in our entire poem. And our entire poem will sound like this. Feel free to say it with me. I like watermelon, I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some right now. Very, very good. So try that one more time with me. 1, 2, here we go. I like watermelon, I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some right now. Very, very good. So now we're going to add some body percussion to it. Now remember, body percussion is when you make a sound using your body, but we're still able to say the words out loud. So this time, we're going to say the poem together, and I want you to pay attention to what body percussion I do on a particular word. So you say the words with me, and I'm going to add a body percussion. 1, 2, here we go. I like watermelon, I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some right now. So you probably noticed that I added some snaps to our poem, and I added those snaps on what word? Exactly, every time we said the words I like. So try that with me, the snaps on the words I like, and I'm going to add a different one this time as well in a different word. So 1, 2, here we go. I like watermelon, I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some right now. So we still had our I like on with the snap, and then I added a pat on the word popsicles. So try that with me, and I'm still going to add another one this time and see if you can figure it out. 1, 2, here we go. I like watermelon, I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some right now. Very, very good. So you probably noticed that on the word watermelon, I added a clap. So far we have I like, watermelon, and popsicles. And with the popsicles, you can pat both of your hands on your lap, or you can go alternating hands. Either way is fine. So try that with me. We'll just try those 3 together. 1, 2, here we go. I like watermelon. I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles. Please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles. Please bring me some right now. Excellent job. So now we're going to add a fourth body percussion to our poem. So we've already had a snap, we've had claps on watermelon, we've had pats on popsicles, and this time we're going to add a stomp on right now. So when we get to that right now, make sure it's right now and get a good stomp there. All right, try it with me. All four of them, whole poem together. 1, 2, here we go. I like watermelon. I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles, please bring me some right now. Excellent. So we had our snaps, our claps, our pats, and our stomp. Now we still have one more set of words, the please bring me some. And we're going to add one more body percussion, and I call this arms. And arms looks like this. Please bring me some. So you hit your arms like I Dream of Jeannie, and then you're hitting the back, you're clapping the back of your hands together, and then arms, back of hands. So please bring me some. So maybe you want to try that with me. Please bring me some. Right. So it'd be please bring me some popsicles, and then you got to be ready to go to your pat. All right, let's try the whole thing together. 1, 2, here we go. I like watermelon. I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles. Please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles. Please bring me some right now. Whoa, you guys are doing so good. So we're going to do this one more time, but you'll notice that on the screen, I've put what some of the music notes are above the words. So now you can see that we have quarter notes and we have eighth notes. So quarter notes is when it's the circle, just with the stem pointing up. And then the eighth notes is when it's the two circles and the stem and with the arm connecting the two of them. So the quarter notes, those are just one beat each. And then the two eighth notes that are together, those are a little bit faster. So like watermelon, and there are two sets of those. So you can see where the words are going to go a little bit faster. So let's try this whole poem one more time. Let's add the body percussion, and I bet you'll do great. Try it with me. 1, 2, here we go. I like watermelon. I like popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles. Please bring me some popsicles. Popsicles, popsicles. Please bring me some right now. Excellent job. So today you've learned a brand new dessert poem. You've learned 5 new body percussions to do with it. And if you want to change this up to make it your own favorite desserts, go for it. So again, my name's Jason Levy from Campus International School, and I can't wait to make music with you again soon. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much. It is a true pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to this class for the last few months since it was originally set up. I am a professional origami guy, if you could believe that such a thing exists. I teach origami like I'm going to do today, and I'm an origami artist. Those are some of my pieces on the wall behind me. I'm actually in my origami studio right now out in Oberlin, Ohio. And I also run an online paper store that sells books and paper for origami, origamishop.us. But one of the things that I love to do the most with origami is to teach it and share it with others. And this is another reason this is a cool experience for me too, is that I love libraries so much. I actually serve on the board of our Oberlin Public Library here in town. And just recently, in the last few months, I've actually been exploring some different origami book models. So today we are going to fold an origami book. But what's really cool about this book is that it actually is a transformation. We're actually going to fold a box, and we're going to transform the box into a book. And then I can show you how you can fold another box that your tiny book will fit into. Okay, so here, I'm gonna switch views here. Now what's really cool about my setup here now is that I've got an overhead view right here. So we're looking down here at my table, and this is today's project. We are going to fold, here, oh yeah, it's this one. We're gonna fold some tiny boxes that contain tiny books. And once we're done with that, I'm then going to show you some other cool origami books. Well, actually, another origami book model. And then I'm going to show you some artist books that my good friend, Amy Fishback, who is a Cleveland-based artist, my good friend Amy Fishback made these books and gifted them to me. And I'd love to share them with you because they do involve some origami elements. So here, let me get some of this out of the way. For today's lesson, you will need, check this out, an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which is a letter size sheet of paper. And I want you to orient your paper like so. And you know what? My camera is slightly askew. This could be a bad idea, but I'm gonna try and kind of adjust this. I'm kind of noticing it now, kind of bugging me. Okay, well, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it totally unskewed here. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. There we go. Let me do this again. What we're going to do is we're going to alter our 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. We're going to turn it into a square. Okay, because a lot of origami starts with the square. Not all origami, but there's a nifty way to do that, and some of you might already know this trick. But what we're going to do, we're going to take the bottom edge of our rectangle here, the short edge, and we're going to bring it up to meet the vertical edge over here. And the goal is to align that short edge as perfectly as we can all the way down to the corner. And when I make my fold, I usually don't commit to it all at once. I kind of ease it into place. And you see I kind of like gently kind of rub my finger over the corner, and you kind of want to hold before you fold. That's my saying I love to use. And there we go. So now that we have this shape, I want you to rotate the model a quarter turn. And if you happen to have a writing utensil nearby, that would probably be good. You don't necessarily need one, but what we want to eventually do is remove this strip of paper, because over here, this triangle folded in half, that gives us a square. Okay, so one way that we can do this is if we get a pen and we put a couple of, we put a couple of notch marks on each end. Now we could, draw a line connecting those, but we don't necessarily have to do that. You don't have to draw a line all the way across. Also, we're going to remove this paper without actually using scissors. Okay, so if I unfold the paper, there we are, and you see we need to make a line, but we're going to make a crease. And so to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip the paper over front to back like so. And I've got the crease part on the top, and you can barely see it. I've got my little notch marks on the underside of the paper here. I'm going to take that short edge at the bottom and I'm going to fold up. And in fact, I'm going to turn the paper a little bit more this way because it's a little bit easier to make the fold. But I'm going to kind of gradually create the crease, being careful to connect this notch with the other notch. But I'm also going to make sure that the little flap on the top aligns with the long edge at the top. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry about making it totally perfect. There we go. Now we want to make a nice sharp crease. I'm using my thumbnail to make the crease. Now you can use the edge, but you can also use the back of your thumb. Maybe your nails aren't very long, but that's okay. If you can kind of turn your thumb over, and it can be a little awkward to go all the way down. So maybe I'll turn the paper a little bit. Okay, so that gives us a crease, but we want to reverse that crease now. So let's unfold the paper, and we're going to use that exact same crease that we just made, and we're going to reverse it. And by the way, while we're here, when I've opened the paper here, we call this type of fold a valley fold because it's going into the paper, right? It's like a valley between two hills. If I flip the paper over, this is a mountain fold. Okay, any fold that's kind of where the paper is kind of going back and creating this edge, we call that a mountain fold. So we're going to take that mountain fold, we're going to reverse it into a valley fold. We haven't made a new crease, we just flipped it back over. I'm running my thumbnail along that again to make sure it's nice and sharp. Now, another thing you could use if you've got like a marker or a pencil or pen with a uniform edge, you can use that edge as a creasing tool. In origami, we use tools called bone folders. But you don't necessarily need a bone folder. You can just use a pen like this. All right, I've reversed the crease. I've made it sharp. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go back to the original position. I'm just going to keep going back and forth. And you probably get the idea here. By folding it back and forth all these times, we are weakening the paper along that crease. Once I've done it, this is the 4th time here, the paper should be weak enough. And you might be surprised by how well this thing tears. But here's what you want to do. You want to make sure you kind of anchor the paper with one hand and hold it where you're tearing it. And you're going to gradually, just little by little, don't tear all at once because you want to move your hand down the paper as you are tearing it. So I just go do, 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 and look at that. It just tears right along the crease. Now, it might take a few tries to get this, you know, to tear perfectly. Don't worry, just do your best. And if you need to grab your scissors, that's okay. The reason I don't like to use scissors is because scissors don't really give you a straight line. If you've ever tried to cut a straight line with a pair of scissors, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's really challenging to do. So using that crease gives us a straight line, and we just tear right along the straight line. Okay, and so that gives us our square. And I want you to orient your square so that the crease is running up and down the center of the paper. Okay, so it's kind of like we've opened a book. It doesn't look like a book, it looks more like a taco if you ask me. But anyway, we open up our paper. We've got our crease running up and down the center. And we're going to take the bottom corner of our square and fold it up to meet the top corner. Notice I'm folding bottom to the top, folding up and away from myself. And that's going to be a common theme during this lesson. And generally speaking, whenever I teach and whenever I fold, I generally like to fold up and away from myself. Okay, so once we've folded that in half, we're going to go ahead and unfold it again. And now we have 2 valley creases going through the diagonals of the square. Now, we're going to take our paper and we're going to flip it over front to back. You see that symbol I used there? Typically in origami, if you see that looping symbol with an arrow, that means you flip it over front to back. And I want you to orient your paper so that it looks like this now. And let me see here. I'm going to, let me do something real quick. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so now we've got 2 mountain folds. They were valleys, but we flipped the paper over, so we want to make sure we're looking at the mountain fold side of the paper. And from here, we're now going to take the bottom edge of our square and we're going to fold it up to the top edge. Bottom edge up to the top edge. We hold before we fold. And I generally like to make my crease by coming down the middle and then going out to the 2 sides. All right, so then, let's see here. We want to unfold the paper back to here. And now we're going to give our paper a quarter turn, or 90 degrees. So we're going to turn the paper so it does look like we are reading a book now. And in fact, in origami, we call this a book fold. How appropriate, both for the origami and for today's lesson. Okay, so we've got a book fold. So I want everyone to open your books to page 2. It's my joke. Anyway, so now we're gonna take the bottom edge of our book and we're gonna fold it up to the top edge of our book for a second book fold. Okay, now we're gonna take a tiny little detour here because I want to show you some stuff. What's pretty cool about the creases that we've just made in the paper is that this gives us all the creases. I push this paper together. Look at that. This is a very classic, when I say very classic, this is a very common classic origami base known as a square base or a preliminary base. If you've ever folded a traditional paper crane, you start out with this form. This is the form that we use to get the bird base, okay? Now what's funny is that we're not actually even gonna use this base for this model today, but I thought I would go on and show you that, I mean, heck, why not? Because once you know how to fold the preliminary base, you can fold lots of other origami models. And I know it's very basic, haha, but it's good to know. Now watch this. This is actually 2 bases for the price of 1. Okay, check this out. Open up the paper. You can do this if you want, right here. So if you push in the center, there's a point at which the paper kind of pops up. The center point inverts a little bit. And so now I can kind of do that same thing where I gathered all the layers together. And if I collapse it like this, look at that. Now our base has turned into a triangle base. It's like magic. Like, how did it do that? It's just using the exact same creases that we had before. And the name for this base is the water bomb base. If you've ever folded the little traditional Japanese kind of balloon, you blow air into it. That's the water bomb, and it's made from this base, okay? So, but we don't want to use water bomb base. Like I said, we're taking a little detour here, but we're gonna get back to where we started here. So I want you to take, if you've created the water bomb base, we got to get back to our square base. So let's do the same thing we did before. You can invert the center, and this is kind of a cool little motion, how the paper jumps up like that. But then we want to go ahead and close it up. And then we can go ahead and, oh, well, so actually we're not using the preliminary base here. What am I saying? But if we get back to the preliminary base, okay, I want you to just kind of gently open up the paper, and I want you to return to your book form, the original book form, okay? If you get back to the book form, that's gonna get us ready for our next step. And I want you to orient your paper so that the creased edge is on the top. So you'll have the diagonal lines going up, looking like a mountain. And the next thing we're gonna do a series of folds that are known as a Blintz fold, but we're gonna do them in a slightly different way. Now, I'll just say this, a Blintz fold is when you fold all 4 corners of the square to the center. But we're gonna fold our Blintz fold while our paper is in the form of a book fold. Hope I'm not throwing too much at you all at once. But here, for the next step, we're gonna take the outside corners here, and we're going to bring it up so that this edge meets the crease at the top. And we want to kind of make sure we have a nice corner here. And so we make a fold, bringing that one corner to what is actually the center of the sheet of paper. It's the center of this edge, okay? So once we do that, let's do the other side, the left side. Right and left sides, we're bringing the point up, and feel free, if you need to move your paper around to make a better fold, you may. But one of the benefits of folding our Blintz fold like this is that by folding to the creased edge, well, A, it's just a little bit easier to fold to a creased edge, but B, it prevents us from folding a little too far on these 2 ends. And don't worry, I've got a little gap here. I'll tell you, my square was not perfectly square when I tore the edge off. It doesn't matter. It's a very forgiving model. Okay, so once we've done that corner, here we are. We're now going to flip the paper over front to back. All right, so there we go. Flipped it over. We're back on this side, and then we're going to repeat the same 2 steps that we did before, folding one corner up and finally folding the other corner up. Okay, and I've definitely got a gap going on in the middle. Big deal. Okay, and so now, so this paper is folded in half into a triangle. We're just going to unfold that triangle, but we want to make sure that the flaps are still on the top. So here we are. Boom. We have a Blintz fold, B-L-I-N-T-Z, just like the pastry. I do avoid talking about food during my lessons because I do get really hungry when I teach, generally speaking. So let's move on from this Blintz fold. But like I said, all 4 corners have been folded to the center of the square. Okay, so that was just a slightly different approach to folding a Blintz fold, which in my opinion kind of helps improve your accuracy. Okay, now we've got our Blintz fold. All the flaps are on the top layer. All right, for the next step, we're going to take the bottom edge of our folded Blintz, and we want to bring it up to meet the crease line, the midline that goes across the center. Oh, we bring that bottom edge up like so. And that's what we get. Okay, now we want to spin the model around. When you see that symbol with the 2 arrows, generally that means we're going to rotate 180 degrees or a half turn. Okay, so there we are. And then we're going to repeat that last step, taking the bottom edge up to the center once again. And you have to kind of grab those layers, make sure they stay together. All right, now let's take our model and let's rotate it 90 degrees. And in origami, we sometimes refer to this type of formation as a cupboard fold. For good reason too. It's like we've got 2 cupboard doors. Pretty nice. Now we want to open our cupboard doors like so. And you'll notice that when you open your cupboard doors, you've got these 2 tabs that are wanting to kind of stick out. Well, that's pretty handy because we want to actually take those and we want to open the paper up all the way, whoop, like so. All right. So it's kind of like, you know, it's like our Blintz, but 2 opposite flaps are folded out. And then now we're going to do something that's like kind of similar to another cupboard fold, where we take the bottom edge of our paper, make sure you kind of grab these 2 layers, hold them together, and you fold that edge up to the center line. That's what we get. And we want to, it's a cupboard fold, so we got to do the same thing on the other side. So let's flip the model, or not flip the model, excuse me, I should say rotate. Rotate, we're just spinning it around here. And we're going to repeat, taking that bottom edge up to the center line. Like so. And we are nearing the finish line. We're almost done. Okay, so let's spin this around 90 degrees, like so. And now we are ready to form our first box. All right. So let me see here. I need to, here, I'm gonna jump back. Here, I gotta change views here. Sorry, my little bubbles moving around. All right, so anyhow, what's really cool is that we've put all the creases that we need in the paper to collapse the model. And we don't really need to reverse anything else at this point, but I want you to lift these two flaps up, kind of like they're the sides of a box. Now these two little points on the side, you do want to make sure that they kind of stay down here. And by the way, I will point out, and I'm going to use my cool little origami pointing tool, my origami pencil. I will point out that the base of the box is this square right here. And these two triangles, you know, they kind of fill in two halves, or excuse me, 2/4 is what I meant to say, of the base of the box. And so eventually these other corners are also going to fit right in. It's like a puzzle. And the puzzle will just fall right into place because look here. If you kind of lift this flap up and just use the base of the box as a guide, that's where the sort of the hinge is. And you can actually do this with both sides at once. You see how you just kind of push those together and all the creases, the little diagonal creases here, just kind of make this come together. Now, you want to kind of pinch some of these layers together. We're just gonna, let's just do one flap at a time. But as I flip this up, then I've got a flap here that I'm gonna wrap around the side of the box. And you see how that tab, that corner, that flap fits right in, just like a puzzle piece, like I said it would. Okay, well that's one side. Spin it around. And let's do the other side. Same way. I'm gonna wrap that around. And there it is. Now I meant to create like a little slide for this, but I didn't. But that's okay, because I'm just gonna write it down. So this model that we just folded is known as a Masu box. And this is like an old school Japanese model. It's thought of as a traditional model, been around forever. And you can go out there online and find all sorts of different versions of diagrams and other videos. So like maybe like, I forgot how to fold the Masu box. Well, you could always, you can find it pretty easily if you look for the Masu box, okay? Now, it took me, there was years before I learned that the Masu box can also be transformed into a cool little book, a cute little book at that, all right? One thing I will mention real quick, oh, I didn't grab it, but sometimes when I'm making these boxes and if I'm gonna use them as an actual box, I will put a little bit of glue underneath these four corners down here, okay? Not crucial, and if we're gonna turn this into a book, which is what I'm about to show you how to do, it's probably not a good idea to glue them in because once you glue the flaps in, then the paper can't shift around as it needs to when we do the collapse. So anyway, just kind of do your best to make sure those four flaps are kind of staying down in there, okay? So if you flip it over to the bottom of the box, now we see we've got these creases. It's the same crease formation as our original square of paper. And remember how we were able to make the water bomb base, that little triangle base? Well, we're basically gonna make a little inverted water bomb base, but in origami, we would actually refer to this as a open sink, a sink. We're literally gonna sink the center of the square using these creases to collapse all the paper down. So all the creases are there, we're ready to go. It's just really handy. It's really, really easy to do this. So we want to push in while we squeeze. See how I'm kind of pushing the four sides of the box in? So as you push that in and squeeze, you go all the way. Don't be afraid, just kind of collapse it down as best as you can. That collapses our box. And then to make it into a book, you want to take two sides that were sort of going to be the cover. Now, I want to point out that because all of the layers of paper are kind of like wrapping around each other, that they all need to kind of shift around and kind of reestablish themselves. So see what happens as I start to close the book. I have this kind of bunching pocket right here. Well, it's okay, because watch this. This is really satisfying and cool to do. You take the whole thing and you just give it a good pinch. So satisfying. Just kind of pinch that and pinch along the spine. You will feel the layers kind of shifting around and readjusting themselves. You get a little squeeze. And there is your tiny book. How cool is that? Now, another thing that I wanted to do for today's class, but I just kind of ran out of time. I wanted to make little sort of parody books, because I'm thinking, okay, well, what are some of my favorite books? And I was like, I know, it'd be cool to make little tiny, super abridged versions, abridged meaning condensed, shortened, like the Reader's Digest version, shortened versions of some notable books. So I've got some ideas of like what I think I'm gonna do. But it would be really cool to see if some of you come up with your own book ideas for your little tiny books, and share them and post them.
This is CMSD.
Yo soy
I am Cleveland's public schools.